And thank you so much. Welcome back. I'd like to thank Jay Schwartelson again for his critical email techniques, and you are not going anywhere because we're ready to jump into our featured roundtable discussion. I'm going to jump off and say we're really happy right now. We have about over 400 companies logged in and listening to this summit, and we're great. We're excited. So let's start. We're joined first by the president of ZoomInfo, Sam Zales. Sam is responsible for driving ZoomInfo's operations and business strategy. He has over 25 years of experience from his background as CEO of BuyerZone, as vice president of card marketing at American Express, and in management for Bain & Company. Sam graduated with honors with a BA from Dartmouth and received his MBA with distinction from Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Management. Welcome, Sam.
Thanks so much, Marissa. A little too formal an overview, but I appreciate it.
Next, we would like to welcome Jim Fowler, who is the former CEO and founder of Jigsaw. As the former CEO, Jim provides direction and leadership towards Jigsaw's achievement of goals and objectives. His sales experience surpasses 12 years of software of marketing and collaboration applications. Jim served as VP of Sales at Digital Impact, Paramark, and TightLink. In these roles, he built sales departments from the ground up, focusing on sales strategies and processes. Welcome, Jim.
It's a pleasure, Marissa.
And last in this roundtable, we have Michael Bird, the Chief Revenue Officer of Net Prospects. Michael has over 20 years of experience in igniting revenue growth and managing business expansion on leading online and social media companies. His specialties include strategic planning, training, building high-performance sales, and entrepreneurial leadership. Michael's innovation comes from his experience as the Senior Vice President of Buzz Agent, VP of Global Solutions at CNET Business Media Network, and his over a decade at Ziff Davis Publishing. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
And Jay, let's kick it off.
Sounds great. Thanks, Marissa. Thank you again, everyone, for dialing in. We're excited to have such a wide array of companies and organizations listening to today's group. I have to tell you, I am personally excited to hear what this group has to say. I really believe this is the first time that the leaders of, specifically in the B2B data world, have really been sitting in the same room, virtual room, and talking to each other about the future of business data. And the great part about this panel is you literally have the three organizations that are at the forefront of this, that are driving where it's all going, and have radically changed business data in the last 24 months. So it's really exciting for you guys to be here. You know, there's a lot of organizations on the call that probably are aware of your different companies, but there's probably some that don't know of your companies, that also may not even know of your business models. So just to kick it off, and it's okay if it's a little bit commercially, I want everyone to know what it is that you guys do for a living. I thought that each one of you can go through and just explain what your company is and what it is that you do for a living. And Michael, over at Net Prospects, I'm going to toss it to you first.
Sure. Well, thanks, Jay. And again, thanks for having me on. Net Prospects is a B2B business database aggregator. So we've gone out and built a database of over 16 million. And think of them as business card records with all of the fields and information you have in there. And once you have the data, set out to solve the hard problem first, which is creating accuracy and understanding if the data is valid or not. And so we've gone through and built the processes and the technology to go out there and not just get data, but then verify it, and then bring the systems and processes in place to deliver them at scale into sales and marketing automation tools, so the companies can put them to use to ignite their own sales and marketing activity.
Excellent. Excellent. Sam, I'll toss the same question to you.
Great. And Jay, let me also thank you for getting the panel together. I think it's a great opportunity and only beneficial to marketers out there if the three of us are discussing what we're doing and how we're trying to compete, but also try to produce new tools and services for the market. So I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to do this together. ZoomInfo has been around for 10 years. We've got a history of creating what we call the most comprehensive B2B directory in the marketplace. We cover 50 million people and 5 million companies, and the mission of the company is to map the business world in near real time. That 10-year history of the business has been focusing on searching the web with our patented technology to crawl information on people and companies, gather every bit of information that's ever been written about those people and companies and develop deep profiles, not just business card information, but deep profiles with background information, work history, education, and every article written about a person to allow sales and marketing people to more effectively open opportunities to close business. And we've expanded our model. The history of the business was web crawled solely. We've seen the strength of some of our competitors in the industry who use the community to provide information. We've taken that to a new level through an automated community-generated data collection process as well as a user-generated process, which three sources of data we think provides differentiated to what we're doing in trying to create the most comprehensive and continuously updated B2B directory in the marketplace.
Great, great. Jim, I'll toss it lastly to you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure again, and welcome to all the listeners. So Jigsaw at its core is really revolutionizing the B2B data business exactly like Wikipedia completely changed the rules for the encyclopedia business. We use a crowdsourced model, and it's been that way from the beginning for us. We have over 1.6 million members of Jigsaw who build and maintain our database of almost 24 million contact records and 4 million company records. What really separates us is that our members are required to put complete data in, and we value them updating the records as much as we do actually putting the records in the first place. So we're able to then pipe not only the data, but more importantly, the changes in the data directly into our customers' containers, most notably, of course, CRM. We were bought by Salesforce back in May of this year, and in the largest acquisition they've ever done, and we're continuing to push the value of our data, helping customers be successful with the best quality data as a result.
And Jim, maybe I'll toss a follow-up question here. You, in a lot of ways, I consider what Jigsaw has done to really be the founders of crowdsourcing in general. And so I'm always curious, who is your data good for? Is your data good for the small business guy who goes on there and swaps records, or is it really for the enterprise-level organization that's trying to have a map for their CRM audience? Like, who is it really ideal for?
Well, like Salesforce, we have customers across the map. So large customers like Computer Associates is a great example. Use our full file as well as several of our other services. But like many smaller companies, we started our early lives with both individuals in a crowdsourced way, small and medium businesses, and of course in the last few years we've graduated to selling to the largest companies in the world. We have partners like Dun & Bradstreet who actually also are a channel for us and our best partner. So we're across the board at this point.
And Sam, let me change gears a little bit. You guys have so much data. I mean, you mentioned that you're dealing with 50 million contacts. I would imagine there are certain sectors that you guys are very strong in, and when I say you guys, it may be you and Jigsaw Net Prospects as well, and there may be other categories that you're not. Are you as strong, for example, let's say in general business service contact data as you are in government records, or are there sectors where your model just...
Well, it's a great question, Jay, and I think the evolution of the company, and Jim said it well, with the success of the community contributed or crowdsourced model, which we were second player into, frankly, based on their success, but we do it differently through an automated means of using Outlook as a contact contributor to us, which has been phenomenally successful. The history of the company was always in web crawled data, and so you find that comprehensiveness of covering small, middle, and large-sized customers and companies to cover, and the people at those companies because of that web crawled history, which yes, business services, tech companies, anybody who has a web presence, pretty much every company out there today, it gives us the breadth and the comprehensiveness of the history of the business. But really where we do see some strength in the business and the growth has been in the small and mid-sized business market, which is very hard to cover for any one of us players in the industry. We have data that shows us 600,000 companies starting every year and about 500,000, 600,000 going out of business in this economy. You've got to stay up and fresh with that information. So that's an area where we really found strength from the tradition of web crawl data. And then, as you said, Jay, areas like education, nonprofit, and government, where they're typically exceptionally hard to find through a community source model, our web crawl data allows us to collect information that lots of players wouldn't collect because you're going after niche markets in those arenas. We found that to be a strength recently as customers are saying, or companies are saying, let me get marketing tools to go reach the education sector, which is hard to find typically for companies like ours.
You know, you're an interesting case because you got your foot in both areas in terms of crowdsourcing and crawling.
Yeah.
Do you find a different attrition rate, meaning a fall off in the accuracy of an address or in terms of the person changing their address in your crawling data that you gather versus your community data that you gather?
I think it's a really smart question. We are finding that the multi-source model that we use today, and the three sources for us are web crawled, community contributed, and user generated, all serve to help each other in the process. So when you look at data and say, I can get to many, many companies and many people at those companies, the web crawled model, and then the community contributed sort of adds a depth to that data by saying it's accurate as of yesterday because an email was sent from this person to another, and I've got that beacon to tell me the data is accurate as of yesterday. I now have strength in the record I might have gotten from the web because of one of the other sources that we use today, and that's our goal here. We even go to find companies that may not have had a web presence we saw through our crawling capabilities through the community contributed model. Now we say, let's go after and crawl that site because we now have identified it through the community contributed model, and then we update our data. So they all serve to help each other in the process, and we think that's a differentiation for us that we've found much more helpful as we've evolved the business over the last couple of years.
That's really interesting. You know, Jim mentioned earlier on about the model copying the Wikipedia model, and Michael, I'm going to toss something over to you. I know that NetProspects has been really successful with your the social media index, which, by the way, if people out there don't have, they should really check it out because their social media index has become an industry standard. Michael, what impact do the social networks have on your business? What data elements, perhaps, can we all start to look forward to being able to target by, and just overall, what does social media mean to crowdsourcers, to aggregators, to people that use data?
Yeah, it's an excellent question, and one that we certainly use as a differentiator in trying to, most importantly, and we're all doing this, we're mapping the sales process, and the sales process starts with the salesperson trying to find someone to contact about their product or service. And so it's our sort of key differentiator to start was, let's make sure that the data is valid, first and foremost. And we had the benefit of being the third player in the market to see what some of the other guys were doing who are on this call and maybe be able to figure out a way to enrich the process. We focused on that because once we've come up with the process, which CleanStep, which allows us to verify the data's accuracy, then it opens up a wonderful opportunity to enrich the data further and make it closer, get it closer to a sales-ready lead. And if you look at what salespeople do now, once they've got that contact information, salespeople don't instantly pick up the phone and call their biggest prospect. They do is, because data is available beyond what we're all crawling for, you can go, salespeople go and they go on LinkedIn. Let me go check out this prospect. Let me see what I can learn to maybe become a little bit more, make my message resonate a little bit more. Where's my golden nugget to make me stand out and to be relevant? And so what we've done is map the process again and be able to, instead of a salesperson spending 45 seconds to a minute searching through the 750 Scott Gordons that are in LinkedIn to find the one that he wants, we can embed that just like it was on the business card with a URL directly to their LinkedIn profile. So now you can see that public information quickly. You can also get to Twitter and Facebook and a number of other social media networks where that user, that individual might be, and that's going to give you greater insight. It also helps you understand what their social graph looks like from an influence standpoint, which is critical, and that's big on the marketing side of the equation. So salespeople use it, right? They're using it to quickly go out there and get a sense for who this person is, what they're tweeting about, and what they might want to layer into their message. The marketers, the marketing teams who are using the social media that we're pending in and delivering to them, they're using it in a slightly different way. They're starting to, instead of just spray and pray approach from an email marketing standpoint, now they're looking at, boy, some people we might want to influence and connect with in a different way. Maybe you want to